women are trash.
Oh, wait a minute.
And
Wait a minute. Okay. I feel like this requires another disclaimer
All right.
because I feel like it might come off as us saying, oh, like sort of trying to do like a tit for tat kind of thing.
Yes.
I think I don't think we're about to say a lot of stuff that men feel.
All right. Yes.
Right. And I think it should also be recognized that men are in power and have held a lot of power over women for a long time and misused that power to such a great extent.
That's right.
I feel like that should be noted above all else.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like I have myself heard far too many stories of men treating women in such despicable ways, like in terms of like being dishonest, cheating, or literally violating, harassing. That's not up for debate. It's never up for debate. Poor behavior is never to be defended. You know what I mean? Like, if you give me like fact by fact about what this man did or what that man did, I'm not going to debate you on that. Like, it is what it is. That person deserves to be reprimanded for whatever it is that they have committed.
Absolutely.
Point blank, period.
Yeah.
The issue is regarding how men feel.
Yes.
Right? At least from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think women may be very dismissive of how men feel because obviously, yes, we are in positions of power. However, I think in retaliation, even they may have also done similar things, but passed it off because it was in response to something else, or they may have been quiet because it's not them. For example, I think that quite a few women may know somebody who is close to them or know quite a few stories of other women who have also been dishonest in their relationship or have been keeping things from their man, whether it's like not even like in terms of like cheating, but just like, I don't know, in regards to finances and stuff like that. And that isn't to say like, oh, well, women do it too.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm kind of saying that too. But like, I feel like these things are ultimately a human problem, and I'm talking specifically about relationships. I'm not talking about power dynamics necessarily. I'm talking specifically like dating and relationships in which I also hear or know of a few stories that women have done to their partners. And it makes me think, okay, how come this isn't being talked about as much either? Like literally, if you go, Kev on Stage, I love him so much. He literally has this series in which people ask him different questions for advice. He gives them the worst advice possible. It's a whole thing. But on there, you can literally click on almost any video and there will definitely be a section in which a woman will ask him about something that she's doing in her relationship that implies or explicitly says, yeah, I'm cheating on my man. And he don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and this it's not a new thing, but it's not, I think because the whole men are trash thing is focused so much on the power dynamics, I feel like it actually makes women look like victims more often than not. And I don't want women to look at themselves like that.
Yeah.
I would prefer they didn't. You know what I mean? Like, again, my opinion is unsolicited here, so you don't have to take it. I'm just saying, like, to me, it often puts women in a position of like a lower position by highlighting only the power dynamics and not also highlighting how many women you know that are cheating. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's
I fully agree with you because, like, I was talking to and it's just so interesting how these things play from like a small level up to a very expansive general level too. Because this is the same thing with even like racism in a way. And I'm gonna link the two like, yeah, exactly. So I was talking to this it was a white INFP woman. And yeah, so just for future context. Yeah, and one of the things we were just discussing a whole bunch of stuff, and somehow we got onto the topic of how I asked her what her opinion was on women seducing men just to play them and harm them. You know, like how we see it in the movies, like all the time, where it's like a woman's like, you know, like, hey there, daddy. You know, like they doing whatever they're doing to either rob the guy or to, you know, even listening to well, actually, no, we won't use that example. But yeah, like just women like using their seductive abilities to advance upon men. And I was like, I personally really don't like stuff like that. Like I'm like very against things like that. You know, like I don't respect women who do that. And then she got upset. I asked her, like, what do you think about that? And then she got upset. She was like, well, men do the same thing. And if anything, this is what they deserve. And it's like, you know, it's more dangerous. Like, she was pissed. She was like, it's more dangerous for women to even do that. And I was like, well, what do you mean? The man is the victim here. And you're talking about she's in more danger. Because the man is doing this, well, but. And so I ended up telling her, like, all right, so my point is that I don't disagree that it's wrong that men do it. I think that it's wrong for sure. I don't like that, period, from a human being, you know? However, I don't like the idea that, oh, well, it's worse when men do it than when women do it because men do so much and everything. So now we're just trying to get even. I don't really like that because I feel like that's kind of like, you know, black people and white people where it's like, oh, you know, now that, like, because white people have done so much to us and our ancestors in the past, then now it doesn't even matter what we say about them or what we do to them because they deserve it and this, that. And it's like, but I feel like Martin Luther King Jr. literally fought so that we could be on equal playing ground. You know, we should not. So Martin Luther King Jr. would definitely say when the white people are doing something wrong, he'll call them out. But I also believe, just like in that Boondocks episode, he'll also call out the black people. Oh, you niggas, please shut up. like it's necessary. You have to be able to address both sides when they're acting up. Because if one starts thinking that they're more superior than the other, then that's what's going to be the problem. And so if we start doing this whole like tit for tat thing, just like you said, oh, well, you know, oh, now women are trash. I understood it to a point, like when that was trending, I get it because they spoke. I as of right now, I've had the word men muted off of my timeline since December of 2019. And I am loving it. Occasionally, I will see a tweet that says, this tweet has a word that I only have one word muted on my timeline, so I know sometimes I'll just hit view, and there's only been one time that I've been happy that I've hit view. Every other time, I've been like, I shouldn't have allowed myself to see this because there's so much hatred talk about men, and I just can't. Because then in my mind, I see these tweets and posts and stuff, and then I have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, they're not talking about me. Oh yeah, they're not talking about me. Take a few more steps. Oh yeah, they're not talking about me. That's too much energy. That's too much energy downing me. So it's like, you know what? How about I just delete all of this from my timeline, period. So I don't have to do the gymnastics and think. They're talking about most men, but not me. You know, I don't have to feel like I'm this worthless, useless, whatever, just
Hmm.
because of my race, once again, or just because of my sex and my gender. So yeah, stuff like that. I feel like it's important. Like I get it. Like women are trash. Like that was trending for like a day, and in my opinion, again, I feel like maybe it was necessary to like show. All right, look at how many things that y'all been pointing the finger, but look at how many things y'all have done too. You know,
Mm.
some could probably even say that y'all are worse than us. Some could probably say that. However,
Hmm.
I would not say that, and I don't necessarily believe that. I think that we are all bad, and I don't want to focus on who's worse, but I want us to focus on seeing each other equally and just doing better without trashing on the other, because it's sad
Hmm.
to see that type of thing. And so,
And I feel like after discussing this with you, I feel like the one way that saying men are trash and then they'll give the example or whatever that it's actually worked is that it's made men think twice about their actions,
mhm,
right? Like I appreciate that part for sure. Like I feel like we should all be checked when we need to be, and I
yeah,
feel like because that statement is so bold and it's so piercing, it definitely makes you, at least it's made me think like, oh dang, yeah, that's pretty bad, that's pretty, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
apart from like the situations in which I feel like it's watered down by situations where women are saying men are trash for, um, I don't know, they'll make jokes out of it and stuff like that. And to me, I feel like that takes away from the conversation
yeah,
because now you're bringing attention to some joke that you feel like is funny or whatever, and maybe it is to you. That's subjective.
right,
But now it's like taking something that people were using to be actually serious and bringing it down a level. And I feel like I'm seeing the jokes way more, and I'm not seeing as much of like the actual like conversation pieces that it's supposed to be starting. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I feel like the very reason why it was so important for people to say, okay, men are trash, because there have been far too many men who have been showing this kind of behavior and
yeah,
is detrimental to all women in general,
yeah,
which definitely needs to be highlighted.
yeah,
However, I feel like if somehow, because not everybody's going to be on the same page, but if somehow
mhm,
the conversation was less about someone's personal joke or something that people were trying to do or like trying to berate or bash men
mhm,
for whatever abstract reason, then we could probably have more conversation, which would lead to more reform because now people are thinking, okay, should I do this? How would this affect this other person? Not even just as a woman, just as a human being, right? Which I think is really the point for people who are trying to use it as like a driving force for their agenda. And I'm not mad at that. I
yeah,
feel like if that was the agenda, it worked to a certain extent because now in the workplace, people are thinking twice, maybe out of fear, but hey, if that's what it takes for you to treat somebody as an equal, so be it. But
yeah,
now I feel like it's being twisted for other people's personal use or personal gain, and
yeah,
that's what's annoying because now you're not really talking about all men, you're talking about the men who have hurt you specifically,
yes,
and you're using them as a joke or whatever to say like, okay, yeah, this is my, I feel like it's just like circular reasoning almost.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's incredibly subjective and biased. I totally agree with that. And I think that I like that because again, like I'm the type of person like I'll watch right now. Jamila and I we're watching through Blackish,
Mm.
season one, and there's so many things that Andre does on there as a husband and as a black man that I'm just like I would never do that. But then things that even like I may have not ever done, it like how he is as a husband sometimes I'll think to myself and I'll literally look at Jamila, I'm like, yo, if I'm ever being like this, please let me know. And now I'm becoming like conscious of it because I'm learning from his mistakes in the show. And so when
Right.
we have like memes like that that are not necessarily trashing on us, but allowing us to be able to be introspective and look at ourselves like, hey, can I see myself in this? Does the shoe
Hmm.
fit? Or would the shoe
Right.
fit in the future? Let me make sure I don't go in that direction by looking at this.
Exactly.
So like even like now during the time of us making this video, there's a popular meme going on with because we're in quarantine due to the COVID-19 and all that.
Hmm.
There's a popular meme going on like of a guy and a girl texting each other. And I think those are hilarious because it's really pointing out a lot of things in our like that we see in our like everyday lives now of like, you know, guys and girls, like how, like, you know, a girl could like be saying something like what would she say? So she would just say like a whole paragraph about something, like trying to address it. And the dude texts back with a smiley face, WYM, meaning what you mean. And this dudes do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Are you not? This is why women talk bad about us. Like, listen, attention, address her points in a calm manner, own up to it. You know, that, in my opinion, is being a man. So then in that case, I would say like men are not trash, boys are trash or whatever, or boys still need to grow into men, you know, kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you still need to like look at those memes, and I look at them, I'm like, okay, do I see myself doing that? Always look back at yourself and make sure that the shoe doesn't fit. And if it does, then just fix it, you know?
Right.
I'd appreciate that type of thing rather than seeing a tweet about how trash guys are, you know? Now I
think the point of it was really to hold men accountable.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's the point. Like, if what you're addressing is not to hold men accountable, then I feel like you shouldn't be misusing that phrase, because that phrase is so piercing that it's going to get attention, regardless of whatever it is, right? So, like, if you're going to use it, I would just hope that there's a point to whatever is being said, and it's not just a joke that you can like easily brush off. And I think that same thing applies to cancel culture, right? In which the point of it was so that people could take accountability.
Right.
So that people could be like, okay, this needs to be called out because this type of behavior is detrimental and we can't allow it to continue. Right? That's the whole point. If that's the point, we can all get behind that and be like, okay, I totally understand why this person needs to be called out for this specific behavior. Because in the beginning, to me, that's how I understood it. I still feel like people's rage kind of went left field, because then people start getting on their high horses and like starting getting like holier than thou or whatever. But I think the point was solely just to make sure that a person is held accountable for misusing whatever power that they have, or misusing their status or something like that. And I feel like the same thing applies to at least the quote of men are trash. Like, make sure that if you're using it, you're holding somebody or something accountable so that it can discontinue.
Yeah. I fully agree. And then also, I would say to address some of the men, or a lot of men who are actually doing good things, like say like, yo, most men that I know are trash, whatever. But like also point out some leaders or some men in like, you know, that you think that we should look up to. You have to at least know two of them. You know, like it's like we should probably look up, like we should probably look up to this. I wish that more guys would probably be like this man, this man, you know, stuff like that, like good modeled men, so that we can more see like, okay, what type of men are you looking for in society that you want us to live up to, kind of thing. Like, give us those type of models. Like, again, J. Cole, like, no role models. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Like, do you want us to be like an Uncle Phil type of person? Like what type of fathers figures should we be looking toward and forward to? I have a whole list on my phone of people. Those things are annoying. But anyway, like men that I look up to, both fictional and real, you know, because it's like these are the type of people that like I want to see myself in, that I want to I emulate in a way, because I respect them to such a high extent. And so, yeah, I feel like that's also very helpful for guys. And, you know, just so that it also continues to show us, like, you're not just saying, like, men are trash and then just leaving it at that. But you're also saying, here are some ways that we still have faith in you, and this is kind of the expected result that we want. And I think
that's the issue. I think that's the issue, because they may have, to me, a very pessimistic view of men, because they don't feel safe around them, and because they feel like they cannot point to a single man that they know personally, or that they can look up to someone, that they'll be like, okay, this person doesn't have anything that I think uh would harm women, or like have any past or anything like that. And of course, to me, that's saying like, oh, this person is perfect, which obviously nobody is. But I feel like their perspective is so skewed because of the harm and because of the hurt that's been inflicted upon them, that they just don't feel safe, and they just feel like, okay, I don't know what to expect from all of y'all. I'm tired of trying to give y'all the benefit of the doubt. So as far as I'm concerned, all of y'all are over there. You're all predators, and I can never actually feel like it's okay to be okay around y'all.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think. That's how I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you need a girl for this. I feel like you should have this conversation with a girl for sure.
Yeah, probably Chelsea Marie.
Great choice.
Yeah, and I made a video for all of y'all who are interested a while back called "Apologizing on the Behalf of Wicked Men." So I would love for y'all to check that out. I tell a few personal stories on there, and I think that like that'd be a really good addition for y'all to like listen to and give me your thoughts on that and everything. But yeah, I think also like we touched a little bit on cancel culture, and that was supposed to be like our penultimate point. I'm still wondering if we should address this final point. We might. I won't chicken out. I won't chicken out of that one.
No, wait, no, hold up. Wait.
Yeah.
Before we say anything else, we're going to cut it right here.
Yeah.
So just in case.
Yeah.
Just
we'll
cut it right here.
Right before we move to anything, like right before we move on. But I just wanted to also say, in addition to that cancel culture thing, I put like pretty much my full thoughts on cancel culture in a poem form, spoken word. If you look on my page, on my channel, it's called Jonah. If you look that up, look at that spoken word. I think that y'all would probably really appreciate it. But in essence, I feel like, there's a time and place for it, and it's a very nuanced subject that could take another whole half hour to like talk about, but I feel like that'll probably like summarize it. So yeah, I think that we're just like David said, we're gonna cut it right here.
This one is too spicy. We have to figure out whether or not we actually want to talk on it.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, that one's a little bit. If y'all tell you what, if y'all like this one, if these videos, I'm gonna cut this up. If these videos get enough attention, enough traction, enough all of that, then we'll continue spicy topics with David. But Chelsea Marie too. Those are my two go-tos. But like, if it doesn't really go up there, then I guess we don't got to do that.
Yeah. That's okay. Keep it in the tuck. Maybe in the future, when you get a Patreon, you can put it in there.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I feel like that would actually work. I'd probably just throw it in a Patreon or something. If y'all want for real ideas on certain things.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's gonna be.
All right, y'all. But David, I'm glad that this worked out because we just killed like 5 birds with 1 stone. This recorded the whole time. It still says recording up there. The internet connection was good, lighting was good, and everything. And it wasn't just a call to like leave running for 40 minutes or whatever, but it went over an hour, and I now have more content to be able to help share with the world and everything. And all of this just to make sure that when I have my interview with Babe Superpowers tonight, it's going to be pretty lit. So we're actually like an hour and a half. So I'm excited to know that this software is going to be working well. Maybe I'll start like interviewing like some more people on here using Zoom and stuff. So yeah,
I think
thanks for the short notice. Yeah, and thanks for always looking out. Thanks for all of your opinions and stuff. This was fun. I wouldn't have done anything else, to be honest. Like, you're my boy.
Man.
And
come on, man.
You have anything that you want to like just shout out at the end right now?
Praise God, man.
Facts.
That's the only thing that comes to mind. Just praise God. That's it. I ain't got nothing else to say.
All right, cool. Done.